Alrighty, welcome back people. I am doing a quick update in relation to what's going on with the project Pajero, or Montero, whatever you want to call it. So there's been a couple of changes that have happened over the course of weeks, I guess, since the first upload or since we first got the car. Things are moving a little bit quickly. We've come out of lockdown in Melbourne, so things are starting to pick back up again in terms of, the other end of the business. So I guess there's a little bit of a rush, so to speak, in relation to getting this car where it needs to be in terms of where we want it to, I guess, round off. The plan is to move the car on sooner or later. Been quite a bit of fun. I am enjoying the process so far, so I'll give you guys a quick update as to what's going on so far. So since the last video, I think at that point we'd only really had done the head unit and LED lights. I think that was the only thing. We tidied up a couple of bits and pieces, but that had been, I guess, where it was up to at that point. So there's been a number of changes since then. Take the bull bar off. There was quite a few people that were interested in swapping the bull bar that I had for a genuine bar. Deal of the century in my opinion, but I guess this day and age you can't even give things away. So struggled to get somebody who was willing to do the swap till somebody put their hand up and they came down over the course of the last weekend and we were able to get that bar off. In the interim I did take the bar off and I made up a front bar for it so we could have something in the interim while having no bull bar on, and we could put another bumper on while we waited for a standard bar. It was pretty straightforward. We just got some 50mm channel or C-purling, kind of just cut and shut and folded it off in the contours of the body of the car, because everything in the front, the front of the car is quite straightforward. Went through the process of knocking something up in the interim so we had something there. We did do the swap in the end to the standard front bar, so now we've got the standard front bar on there. It's really looking the way it should in terms of its overall finish. We did add some LED 7-inch driving lights. We wanted to keep something that was going to be, relative to what we've already got going on with the LED setup. So we wanted to go with an LED spotlight because we thought it would suit the best. And obviously with the front bar, it looks quite good. So the chrome was quite bad on the front bar. Couldn't be saved. I did try my best in order to strip back the paint. The previous owner had just given it a quick blow over with some silver spray paint. Tried to get that back, but there was a reason why he painted it, so there was quite a bit of pitting and rusting, so it was a little bit too far gone. So we decided to go with what's becoming the signature touch to this build. There was a little bit of work to do on one of the bumpers, so that had quite deep scratches in it, so we built it, bogged it and sanded it back and painted it, so now it kind of looks a little bit nicer. One of the big changes that you probably will notice immediately is I lied a little bit about wanting to keep the standard wheels. So when the gentleman came down to do the swap over for the bars, he actually rocked up and he had a Gen 1 as well. Obviously he had 31-inch mud tyres on it, and when the thing pulled in I was like, oh my god, it looks so good with 31s. So I went on a bit of a search on Facebook Marketplace, which is obviously the place to be. I managed to find some 31s that were already mounted on rims, so one of them was bent. So then I ended up getting 31s. It was the bargain of the year and I would have hated myself if I didn't buy them. So it was a set of 5 31s with 6 rims, and it was $100. And it's like, what are you gonna do, man? You're not gonna buy it. Chucked them on and I was really surprised to find the differences between, suppose a cheaper tyre, which is what we had on it before, 205 section tyre, versus, a proper quality all-terrain tyre. Normally what happens there when you go to a bigger tyre, you end up getting a bit more road noise, turning circle and a little bit of a power loss and whatnot. So I can happily say that I don't know how, but these tyres are actually quieter, despite the fact that they're significantly bigger. So I've got some B-roll there to show you guys in the differences of overall dimensions, how much bigger the 31s are versus the 205s that we had on there. The rolling diameter is very similar, but obviously the width of the tyre is significantly bigger. The offset on the wheels that we have now are far more aggressive than the wheels that were on there in the first place. You do get a little bit of poke in the front end, as you can probably see there, and you can see it's got a bit of poke, so I'll be knocking up, I guess, like a liner, just that runs along the base of the fender that covers it off along the front, so it doesn't look so, in my face. I don't want to have any issues with the constabulary of the state, so we'll be making up some fenders and stuff like that just to kind of, keep it road legal as best as we can. I mean, it looks relatively road legal, but it looks quite tough this way, but obviously, it can't be like that. It'll be flinging mud everywhere anyway if it is used for its purpose. So I am finding myself getting sucked back into the world of forward driving again, which I haven't been involved in for some time. It's a bit tough, but I do want to get back into it, and I might use this for its purpose, but I will kind of still keep it with that road focus. I know that I've kind of bent the rules already with 31s, but you know, in that case it is something that it will be used for its purpose occasionally, so having the right tyres and whatnot is always a bonus. If there is a decision later on to put a winch on it, fabricate something up in that front end, because I've done it before with my previous one. Some changes to the interior. So the head unit that we actually got initially was defective, so every now and then it would kind of just turn off while you were driving. So multimetered everything and continuity checks and everything else, and the loom was fine and the car is fine. It's just a matter of the head unit just randomly would turn off. Instead of going to the same unit, I decided that the previous head unit that we had was advertised to have CarPlay, but it doesn't actually have Apple CarPlay. It only had Android Auto, and if you're an Android user, that's great. I hope you get better soon. Obviously, I'm an iPhone user, and we want to make sure that the Apple CarPlay compatibility was there, so we actually did an upgrade and went to a Sony unit that does actually have Apple CarPlay. Pulled that trim out, and because it was like a gloss finish out of the ACP that I cut out for that fascia, I wanted it to look a little bit more consistent with the texture of the interior, so I pulled that out and hit it with that wrinkle coat again as well, just to make sure that it was kind of consistent with the rest of it. I didn't quite go over it, I don't think, with the first video, but the steering wheel itself has kind of been chewed out right where you put your hand. Obviously, over the course of many years, you know, that part of the steering wheel had been chewed out pretty badly. So I replaced that with aftermarket wheel. It's kind of Nardi-esque. It was kind of hard, especially in terms of what's actually available at the moment, to get a genuine Nardi, and then to paint a genuine Nardi would be a bit rough. So I thought, you know what, I'll just get something that's you know, a little bit more affordable in terms of the wheel itself, in terms of size as well, because going to a 365mm wheel, they're a little bit hard. It's fine. Also got a textured finish on that as well. It's really starting to tie together in terms of the dark interior. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I did do a build with Gen 1 and I did a full light interior and it looked really good, but I'm starting to be partial to the darker interior. It looks really good as well. Happy with the way that looks now. Everything's kind of unison and looks really nice in there, and it's really nice to drive in terms of, we did have this wheel fitted too, so we actually did a little bit of off-roading. So me and Simon went down to Bunyip State Park, or whatever sort of park it is, and we did a little bit of off-roading, and we wanted to see how far the standard 205s will take us, and man, a bit of low range, second, third gear, and it just walked up everything. It had been dry for a couple of days, which was a positive. Some of those tracks would have been much harder if there would have been a bit more moisture, but fortunately there wasn't, and we were able to walk up most of it without getting stuck. So that was super exciting to just get out there in a standard under a four-wheel drive. It's almost like doing a track day in a standard car. You know, you very quickly find the limitations of what that car can do, or in this case what the four-wheel drive could do in those conditions. So outside of that today, obviously I will be pulling the wheels off, and I will be painting them so they look a little bit nicer. I'm still undecided on what colour I'm going to go with. I still want to just pull them off, get them stripped, clean them up as best as I can, because they've got quite a bit of corrosion and whatnot. So it'd be nice to kind of tidy those up, and then I'll be making that sort of the liner along that fender, just so it tucks it in and it looks a little bit nicer. It looks super aggressive now, super boxy. I love it. It's one of those things where the standard wheels have their own appeal in terms of what they are. Maybe if I could have 31s on the standard wheels, that'd probably be the best of the best. But at $100 it was too cheap to pass up some 31s, so I had to get them. And it's obviously given it a little bit of a lift, so it's really cool. I'm happy with it. It's starting to go in the direction of what I had envisioned when we first got the car. You know, it still keeps its 80s boxy charm, but it also starts to look a little bit more aggressive, which is kind of what we want. You know, the stock body look is killer, and I'm really enjoying this build so far. So paint wise, we're still undecided as to whether or not we are going to outsource it. We're going up and down, left and right in terms of what we are actually going to do with the paint and the exterior of this car. Even in the videos it presents really well, like even from here it looks absolutely fantastic, but when you get up close there's quite a bit of you know, quite a bit of damage that has occurred. Not damage, but you know, just marks and things like that happen over the course of an off-road car being around for 30 years. So, you know, go up to the challenge and maybe give it a bit of a sand down and a blowover and just tidy it up, maybe hit it with another layer of clear. A couple of bits and pieces we'd have to fix obviously, so we'll approach them and we'll we'll do that if we decide to paint it. Still undecided, and we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, that's pretty much what is happening with it at the moment. The direction is going in another way, so we've obviously got to focus on our customer cars moreover than our own, which is a bittersweet thing. It's good that obviously the business up off the ground again after lockdown, but in saying that, you take away from the time that you get to spend with cool stuff that you get to build. It's a blessed life. It's awesome to be able to build things like this that are so different in every way, shape or form. At the moment, we've literally got the polar opposite of this car. We've got an AutoZam AZ1 that we're doing a dryers restoration on, which I will be posting on our channel as soon as I get that together as well. So yeah, it's just amazing to have such a variance in what we get to do and what we get to play with here, and it's really good. That's what's happening at the moment. So if you're enjoying it, as per always, like and subscribe, turn your bell icon on, and make sure that you're following it as it comes out. There will be a little bit more updates in terms of what's happening with the car when they happen. So yeah, thanks again for watching the video. Thanks again for staying on the channel. I appreciate all the support, comments, and all the rest of it. Yeah, if you want to see anything else or you want to know anything else, obviously make sure that you comment below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks again for watching the video.